Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Studio Art. I'm your instructor, Mr. Schwartz, and in today's lesson, we're talking about space in art. There's two types of space in art. There's positive space and there's negative space. Positive space is the central subject of any artwork and usually the emphasis of that artwork. Negative space is the space in between and around the central subject or the positive space. To give you an example, in this scene right here, I would be the positive space and the battleship around me would be the negative space. So I'm gonna have you watch two videos that are attached to the lesson on Google Classroom. I'm gonna show you the assignments and then talk about the role that the videos play in that. So let's go to that now. Okay. Okay. All right, so here's your first assignment. Your first assignment is really an exercise. There's an attached video, and it says here that it's 2 minutes in. You'll see on the little icon of the video that there's a stool on it. That's the one you want. You're gonna watch that tutorial, and you're going to be drawing the stool, the negative space around and in between the stool. So the idea is to not just draw the contour of the stool. You're not doing that. You're starting with the spaces in between the pegs and legs of the stool. And the tutorial will show you exactly how to do that. It's more than just drawing the space. You need to get the spacing right in between, and you need to line up the different lines of the legs so they match up. And make sure that things are at the right angle. So it's really, it's an exercise, but it's fairly challenging, and I hope that you do it. So the aim of this is to learn the difference between positive and negative space and apply it to a simple object. So the vocabulary, contrast, negative and positive space, shading and value. You're going to click on that video that I mentioned, go 2 minutes in, watch the video, and then you're going to demonstrate the very same thing on your own artwork. I do realize that when you submit it, I won't have much way of knowing of whether you just drew the outline or whether you actually started with the negative space. I want to just urge you to really follow through with this exercise because it's going to stretch your skills so much more and just make the left and the right side of your brain tingle that much more, okay? So let's just move on to our second assignment. Okay, so this second assignment is to take a more complex image, a photograph, if you will. I'm suggesting sports photography. The reason why is because there's a very strong central subject and there's usually something around it, such as a crowd or a field. You can use any kind of photograph you want, but it's going to be similar to the first exercise where the positive space is left blank and you're defining the positive space through the negative space. So you're drawing the background around the central subject instead of just drawing the contour or the outline of the central subject. So I want you to really try to do this exercise the way it was intended, okay, and not take any shortcuts. Secondly, the second part of assignment 2 is matching those values of what you see around in the negative space. So try to match those lights and the darks and the grays in between. I know you don't have much experience doing shading. We're going to get into that in the next lesson, but I want you to just try to do the best you can and get as close as you can. It says here to use 2 different shading techniques. If you don't know much about shading, what I suggest is to try to shoot for a smooth blend where it kind of looks realistic and you don't see many lines, or you can use in some areas some directional lines that suggest texture. So you can use a combination of the two. The idea is to really develop that negative space and leave the positive space blank. Okay, so that's assignment 1 and assignment 2. There is an introductory to negative and positive space video there. So please watch that. Please watch the stool video. Please watch the other videos that are attached. And there's also a link to sports photography, Google Images, just for your make it easier for you to find. Okay, so that's all for this assignment. And if there's any follow-up questions, please be sure to catch me in the office hours. And I'll see you at the next video. And until then, take care. Bye.